that decision wasn't left up to me. And when I say that, I mean, why is the coach making the decision on whether he comes here or not? So we need to bring this level up to where it's a mandatory type of an event, so the coach really doesn't decide whether he comes or not. You know, somebody else, our criteria, the NCAA has a criteria that decides. So as far as I'm concerned, Coach Brands has made the decision based best on the outcome of his team. And with that in mind, you know, he thinks that he should not be here. So, you know, I'm going to support that only in the fact that it's the coach's decision, and he has that right. Now, if it was an event where you don't have a choice, then they'd be here. If they're one of the top, you know, 16 teams in the country. Or, you know, if he was just trying to not go for a reason that is not a good reason, then I'd be really on his case. But because he thinks it's best for his team not to be here in the terms of long run to winning the national championship this year, I'm for him on that. Because the reason why is because he's got 3 national titles in a row. You know, he'd like to be a record-setting coach. He'd like to have his athletes do as best as they possibly can. So you make the decisions based on those performances. So if he thinks this is not the best thing to do, then time will tell whether he's right or not right. So, you know, he's going to catch some flack. But like I said, if he comes through with the team this year and the team comes through for the state of the University of Iowa, then he's pretty much right.
Now, there's been some great performances here, and just looking at it, Minnesota resting well, Boise State resting well, Oklahoma State minus the upset yesterday, a star-studded lineup. How do you think Iowa fits in with those guys? And Cornell, I'd be remiss not to mention Cornell. How does Iowa fit in with those guys?
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting because Virginia Tech is where Tom Brands came from.
Yes.
And they went out, and they're in the finals. So it's kind of interesting, you know, that situation. And Iowa State has beaten Virginia Tech earlier in the year, but I think they had a couple guys out of the lineup. But the interesting fact here is a lot of people are out of the lineups of some of these teams. Cornell has guys sitting home. Minnesota has guys. Wisconsin has guys sitting home. Boise State, I think, had most of their lineup intact. I think he set a couple guys out in the wrestleback. But, you know, it's one of these things that a lot of the good teams are here. I think the number one hot rolling team right now everybody's talking about is Penn State.
Yes.
And they just won the Virginia Duals. But, you know, they have a lot of young people yet, and they're yet to be determined, you know, from a standpoint of performance as far as really taking home the hardware. Iowa's the team that, you know, is the defending 3-time national champions. They're not here. That hurts the event. But at the same time, it may actually help the sport in the long run if they're true to form and they perform when they need to at the end of the year. But we do need to do something about the event to make sure that it's more of a important event from a national point of view and not just, well, I'll go or I won't go.
I've heard some buzz around the building about a qualifier at different regional sites, and then everybody comes together for one final, similar to the way the individuals could be done. You know, what do you think of that?
Hey, I think that we need to do what's best for our sport, and when we're going to try something, there's a lot of thought process. They've been working on this for years, so we're going to go with something that we feel is going to be better, but then after we have it for a couple years, we'll tweak it again and make it even better than that. We need to upgrade some things, and we can't just sit around and leave our shoes untied. You know, we have to actually be a little bit experimental, but we have to have good knowledge before that and then go from there. And I think we're doing it right now. We're taking our major organizations, putting the good, strong leaders of those organizations together in one room, coming out with some better results as far as performance for the future. And if we do that, we work together, hey, we can move up.
Well, I've noticed that the other levels here, Division II, Division III, and on down the line have been pretty competitive. For example, Division II, the semifinals were just decided, both semifinals by 2 points.
No, 2, 3, NAIA, National Junior College, the National Wrestling Coach Association has a method of helping those institutions. They just don't have a method yet to help the D1s, and that's where we really need to focus on, as well as focusing on keeping youth and beat the streets. You know, we got to beat the streets in Chicago and Cleveland, in LA, you know, in Atlanta, and all the big, they're doing a great job in New York City, so we got to use that lead of an example, and then we'll get all these kids in the sport, and then we got to have better coaches. We're doing coaching education now, and we need good coaches at the beginning level, and they need to know how to teach those beginning kids to stay in our sport throughout their high school, college, and even look for Olympic wrestling. So we got to upgrade it. We got to upgrade.
What's your thought on the officiating around here? You know, we see a lot of the big name officials at this event. But what's your thought on the officiating at the D1 level, D2 level? Are we getting the best officials trained?
Yeah, I think we are. But you know what? They're just like the sport. They can get better too. And I'm not going to let up on them because they decide a lot of matches, who wins and loses. And, you know, I don't like that, you know, because it happened to me.
Right.
And you know what? I took my level up because of that. So they were motivation to me because I don't want any official deciding whether I win or lose, or my team, or our country. So, you know, that's kind of motivation. But yeah, they need all the help they can get to.
Now, Coach, back in Illinois, there was a lot of debate about Montel Marion and just giving second and third chances, and you know, America is like that. America's about giving you chances.
You know, here's the thing: if you can take a kid that can go either way, and you make him go the right way, then you keep him within the system, and you give him that opportunity. If you just throw him off and let somebody else take him for just the performance reasons, then he's not going to be better off. But Iowa has done some really good things, and Montel has done some really good things, but he's not in the lineup yet. That hasn't been determined.
He's just on the team.
He's on the team, but he's not in the competition yet from a standpoint of they haven't approved him yet. So they're still analyzing him.
I think that both Montel made the right decision to stick it out, and Iowa made the right decision to work with him.
A lot. He could have already been wrestling, just like Andrew Long's wrestling at Penn State right now, somewhere else. But he's wants to become a better person as well.
I gotta think that kind of endeared him to the Hawkeyes. That he's really a Hawkeye. By him making that decision not to turn and run just to get back on the mat with anyone, he kind of showed that he is a Hawkeye.
Well, I tell you what, he had a lot of support. Not only from the institution, from the coaching staff, from the family, girlfriend. You know, it's just, that's what you need. You know, when you're on your own making decisions, it's pretty tough when you're a 20-year-old kid or whatever.
And Coach, this final thing, I read the other day that you retired from the University of Iowa. What's it like no longer?
Well, I've already taken on a new project. They rehired me just temporarily, but a 6-month project.
Okay.
But I'm not on a paycheck, so.
Okay.
But I'm making that money.
Okay. So are you going to lean towards the broadcasting aspect a little bit more?
I'm just going to lean towards total sport in its entirety and do what I can do to bring it up a notch or two and make it the best sport in the land.
And Coach, before I let you get out of here, last year when I saw you were on crutches, how's your health? You know, you wrestled a lot of matches in your career. Got your hand raised a lot. How's your health?
Right now it's pretty good. I'm not on crutches right this minute. But after I got off crutches, I had to have another surgery, and I was on crutches again. But I think I'm off for a while. Until at least maybe I walk 100 yards and fall or something. But I actually feel pretty good. But, you know, I got to work at that.
Right.
You know, I'm pushing. You know, the age is starting to push up there. But
how old are you now, Coach?
I think I'm in the 40s now.
Okay, 40.
Yeah, but no, 39.
You had a few matches left in you then.
Oh, I've never let up on that.
Really? Did you still?
I just changed my partners and picked my partners. I pick on my wife a lot more now.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for talking to the state of Illinois. And next time you're in the state, stop by, say hi. We love having you.
It's a great state. Lots of numbers there. We just a little disappointed when the people of the state don't look out for their people by eliminating an opportunity or two. So, you know, they can bring it back, and then I'll like you again.
Well, you have one of our sons in your lineup, so we're watching very close. Mr. Tony Ramos.
Tony is the percentage of the lineup that is on track right now.
That's great to hear. I'm sure everybody in Illinois will be happy. Thank you, Coach, and enjoy the rest of the day at the National Duels.